Okay, this is recording in the cloud. Zoom behaves as it should. And Tuesday, Zoom took forever to process the files. Yesterday, the files were much longer and it processed them almost instantly. So Zoom might have been having problems. And it could be operator error, even though I've done this hundreds of times now. I hadn't done it for a couple of months. Maybe I screwed some up. Okay. I suspect myself more than Zoom, but if you want to have faith in me, just take the idea that it was Zoom's fault, not mine. Got it? Okay. And that's your judgment. Okay. So anyhow, another thing Zoom does, as soon as I start recording, it changes the size of the screen. I like to zoom in as much as possible. Okay. So again, Canvas page, you go to announcements, the welcome announcement tells you how to enroll in My Open Math. You just go to your Canvas page, My VHCC, etc. Then you follow the instructions in My Open Math. You have the introduction to My Open Math. You have the ABC exercise. That was due tomorrow on Tuesday. So it was due yesterday. But I'll tell you what we're going to do about that, because right now it's unavailable. Lost availability last night at midnight. So you can't even access the exercise, but I'll remind me and I'll send you a link. Okay. And if you didn't get it done, I'll give you amnesty one time. Okay, because beginning of the semester, dealing with the technology, get back to other classes, managing, which is good. Okay. So that was it. Now there's a calendar and a grade book in My Open Math. Calendar tells you when things are due. Also the narrative, you should just read it starting at the top of the page and read down. It'll tell you when things are due, and you'll have the links there. Okay. It's obvious. It's obvious how to use it, right? I mean, it's easy to figure out. Okay. But if you have trouble, email me. And there's a grade book. Right now, most of you have grades because you completed the introduction to My Open Math that gave you a few points. Okay. And I'm supposed to read the syllabus. Actually, I was going to go over that with you today. It's 3 things I've got to do while you're working on this. I have to get you along. I've got to get those printed. I wasn't able to do that yesterday. I'm kind of slipping my mind. So, so that's it. Okay. Now, give you some more problems. Some kind of related to what we did last time, just to see if you picked up anything. And this is still kind of an assessment thing. So your work on this isn't going to count for any points. That way, I'm asking you stuff you might not remember the previous question. Would be fair to grade you all. Okay. So okay. Now, if you've done the ABC exercise, you know what that means. Okay. Yeah. They're to distinguish symbols that stand for numbers. That stands for your A, B, and C. Okay. And that it tells you that in the exercise if you read it, but that's a good question because often so if your A, B, and C are 5, 7, and 12, then you put a 5 here, a 7, and a 12 here. And you can use 5, 7, and 12. Okay, so you just write, if it's 5, 7, 12, you write 5x plus 12 equals, or 5x, what did I say, 5x plus 7 equals 12. Okay, and you solve it for x. So I'm going to write down a few equations. And this one's fairly simple. I'll even write a simple one. This is a different equation that had a different solution. Now let's be clear. If I write down an A without these backward apostrophes around it, it means just a symbol A. A becomes a symbol. Backward apostrophes tell you that A, B, and C are numbers. Okay. Yeah, shouldn't should have paused that last time. Okay, now these problems are all things that I can tell just from looking at your work you've seen before. Okay. Okay, whether you did everything right. Well, distributive law can be a challenge, and that's what I'm testing. I'm not testing, I'm just trying to assess how much of a challenge distributive law is over the course. Okay. These are not wild cards, these are equations. If you know the rules, you should be able to solve. This is a quadratic equation. Okay. How many of you recognize that as a quadratic equation? You even know what a quadratic equation is. Ever heard of a quadratic equation? Okay, yeah, most people have. Okay, so it's important to distinguish when you have a quadratic equation. Now, we'll get to that, in a few weeks. I'm not going to deal with quadratic equations this week or next, okay? But again, I'm just trying to assess. Okay, and these are a little tricky. There's a very simple thing you do though, so try to pick it up as I go through this. I'm going to go through them pretty fast. It'll be posted, so you can easily find it, okay? And it's worth looking at, especially on the ones you didn't know, like these three. If you get that into your head now, it's going to be much easier when you see it later. And it's stuff people just typically lose track. Okay, I'm going to start with this one. And let's say A is, let A be 6. I'm going to say equal 13. Okay. At 6x equals 13. Then six x divided by 6 is 13 divided by 6. Or you can multiply 1/6 by both sides, either way. Comes out to the same thing. So somebody, at least one paper, multiplied by 1/6, and that should work fine. Okay, now, what's 6x divided by 6? Just show me with your fingers. Yeah, x. Okay. Why is 6x divided by 6x? It's not because you can cross the 6's out, because a lot of people, when they start crossing 6's out, will cross that one out too. If you don't know why you cross things out, I guarantee you 99% of people are going to cross things out inappropriately. Okay, I'll probably do a short exercise next time to show you that that's the case. 6x over 6, if you know fractions, is just the same as 6 over 6 times x over 1. Now, we went over multiplication of fractions last time. Y'all did pretty well, better than my pre-calculus class did. Okay. Doesn't mean you all are ready for pre-calculus. It means a lot of them really ought to be in here. Okay, especially since only half of them did the homework. Only half of them even registered for my open math. That could be because I'm having trouble with the system. Right? Plenty of explanations for that. And I think that probably is the case for some of them. Some of them maybe had to go to work right after and work 24 hours. Okay, I don't know. So there could be plenty of reasons for that, but when only half the class does what they need to do, including the ABCs, you wonder about it. So all I'm saying is, I'm hoping this class will grow a little bit. I don't recommend anybody in here switch over to pre-calculus. Okay, do much better in pre-calculus to get through this class. And you'd probably want to do pre-calculus with the support course, which are the two courses. If you do a really good job in this course, really learn it, then I can approve you to do pre-calculus without the support course. I said last time, I'm not sure I told you this, that half the people in the class I had last time, which really worked well together, it was a great class. Half the people in that class got the recommendation to go right into pre-calculus. Some of them got a recommendation, okay, if you really want me to, I'll approve it, but I think you ought to take the 61. Some of them said, no, well, you need the 61, no way. But you passed this course and did a good job. And one of the people, well, anyhow, okay, so anyhow, that was a long digression. Back to the equation. 6x over 6 is 6 times x over 6 times 1. 6 times x is 6x, 6 times 1 is 6. And you really want to try to understand the algebra at that level. It's not just, there's a rule where you can cross things out. That's called cancellation. I don't even like to use the word because nobody ever does it. Very seldom does anybody ever consistently do cancellation right. Just start crossing stuff out. In open math, you're going to see people crossing stuff out. I think that's malpractice at the level of this course. But that's just my opinion. They probably have good reason to think that what I do is malpractice. So it's not really malpractice, just I don't think it's malpractice. Okay. You have to know why things work or you're going to miss a time. It works to cross out those sixes because you can do this. Look here, and 6 over 6 is 1, right? So little remember right this, but 1 times x over 1 equals 13 over 6. And 1 times anything is that thing, and 1 divided into it becomes that thing. So clearly, this is x. And I never had to cross anything out. I used rules. And the rules for crossing out are harder than the rules for fraction. Got more to remember. Okay. Now, if you get really good with those rules, yeah, you can cross things out with some confidence. Okay, so really simple equation. You divide both sides by 6 and you get this. There's stuff in the details of why that works that you really should understand. Okay. Now we are recording, aren't we? Yeah. Okay. Okay, let's go up to this one. Let's say we have 6x plus 9 equals 6x plus 8 equals 13. Okay, we didn't have to do that. Okay, 6x plus 8 equals 13. What do? You subtract 8 from both sides. I'm going to write this out, 6x plus 8 minus 8 equals 13 minus 8. I really don't like putting an 8 equals 8 here and subtracting, but that's valid. It's probably the way you've been taught. So I don't dislike it that much. It's okay if you want to do that. You usually see me write it out this way. Okay? A good reason. You know, it's kind of a 60-40 thing, from my perception. So 8 minus 8, obviously 0. That gives you 6x equals 5. Six x over 6 equals 5 over 6. Now we got that 6x over 6 thing. So I'm just going to put 3 dots there. There's a step that you really probably ought to include until you're really comfortable with it. Okay. Takes a little time to write that out. It's not bad. Anyhow, this tells us that x is 5 over 6. Now we should check our solutions. Okay. Check this. So equation 6x plus 8 equals 13. X equals 5 over 6. So we want to plug 5 over 6 in for x. We get x. Got x, and I've got 6. So 5 is a little bit around 5 there. Okay. 6 times 5 over 6 plus 8 equals 13. Okay, well, 6 times 5 over 6 with 3 dots, really technically ought to do all that stuff. 6 times 5, 6 is 5. And 5 plus 8 equals 13. Okay. So equals 13, you put a check. Now, I really encourage you to check your solutions when you're working with equations. Okay. Because that gives you instant feedback. If it doesn't check out, you did something wrong. So you figure it out. Okay. You learn more that way. You learn it more quickly. And it's just important if you want to be accurate, you should check. Okay, now a little more quickly in some of these. Okay, so we have A, which I think I said was 6 times x plus b. I think that so it equals, that's x plus, yeah, it's x plus equals 13. Okay. So distributive law, 6 times the quantity x plus 8 is 6 times x plus 6 times 8. Okay. So that's really important. And not everybody at this stage uses the distributive law correctly, but that's it. And they're more detailed, well, more extensive applications of the distributive law. And people tend to not use it. It really must be used. Okay, so anyhow, I think it is 6x plus 48 equals 13. 6x plus 48 minus 48 is 13 minus 48. So that's 0. That leaves you 6x. That's negative 35. 6x over 6 equals 35 over 6. And again, there are 3 dots here. And then you get x equals 35 over 6. And to check that, we put plus 35 over 6 in here. Okay. And see if it works out. And if I did it right, and it might not. I did that kind of fast, I might have made a mistake. I always want to check it. Okay. The next example gets a little more detailed. We have 6 times 13x minus 8 equals 8 times 6x plus 13. And so we use the distributive law on both sides. That gives us 6 times 13x minus 6 times 8 equals 8 times 6x plus 8 times 13. And we get 6 times 13x minus 8 is 6 times 13x minus 6 times 8. 8 times 6x plus 13 is 8 times 6x plus 8 times 13. Okay. Get this. Well, that gives us 78x minus 48 equals 48x plus 704. Okay. And then we proceed. I might not even finish this because I don't want to pass the end of the board, but normally do this in one step. 6x minus 48 plus 48 equals 48x plus 104 plus 48. And I just realized that my work on the last couple of problems wasn't visible in the video, so I moved over. Most of this was video, but this was most of this was visible. This wasn't. So anyhow, again, 6 times 13x minus 8 is 6 times 13x minus 6 times 8. 8 times 6x plus 13 is 8 times 6x plus 8 times 13. Here we have it. And then we multiply these things out. We get 78x minus 48 and so forth. Then I add 48 to both sides because I would have my x's over here. I would have my numbers over there. That gives us 78x equals 48x plus 152. And things are getting a whole lot simpler. And I subtract 48x from both sides. And I get 30x equals 152. I'll just say at 70, divide by 30, get a sign. Okay. It actually was 5 and 15. Okay. So there's the idea. And this one is very similar to this one, which is a little more arithmetic. Now, you don't have to have that mastered right now. You don't even have to have that mastered this week. But if you understood that, and if you actually did that, it's pretty good. Okay. And if you don't understand 6 times x plus 8 equals 13, I'll email you about that, okay? And I'll refer you to a better example. Actually, you don't need to know it right now. Just let me know, okay? If any of this stuff is mysterious to you, because it's just very helpful to me. Okay. Okay, so here's the syllabus. I printed it out small, so okay, I can read it. Especially since I can know what it says. Okay, tells you where my office is. It's either here or over at OTC 220. That's the building over there up on the second floor back in the corner. Okay, I moved between here and my office. There's my phone number, but don't use the phone because I never check it. Okay, you get a recording. And yeah, I've got some hearing loss. It's painful for somebody who's a little timid or doesn't enunciate very well to talk to me on the phone. Okay, and it's very inefficient. I can't show you anything on the phone. Okay, you can email me and I can you can see it. Okay, you can come by, look at it. But the phone's not the way to do it. Okay. So voice messages are unreliable, so always use email. And there's my email address. In the office hours, you can read those. Straightforward. Just make sure they're right. Yeah. In virtual hours, and usually I have virtual hours. Right now, I've got them set up 9:40 to 10:40, and I do those from home. Then I've got to stop and drive up. I don't live that far away. But 20 minutes gives me time to do it. Okay. Best way to contact me is email. Unless you see me, you can holler. Okay. Goal of the course: develop concepts and procedures in intermediate algebra, etc. Focusing on the skills you need from F-161 and co-requisites and the E61. Policies are subject to change for an emergency, whatever. You got the COVID guidelines. I think those are current. I should check that. But COVID guidelines, bottom line, you don't want me to get brain fog. I'm just marginal as it is. Okay. And you don't want other people to get sick. So if you got any symptoms, stay. Email me. Tune in virtually. Unless you're really sick, then you'll have the videos later. If you got really sick, we'll help you catch up. Okay. But don't come here and spread COVID. People are kind of over it, but it's not over us. Especially in this region where we have a last 38% positivity rate. It's 9 times what's considered sort of safe. 9 times, 4 times. Okay. So anyhow, there's your course title and description. You can read that. Course objectives, purpose to prepare for the courses. Course objective, demonstrate comprehension of math major topics by solving relevant problems. You're going to be tested on solving problems. Come in every day, you'll have a quiz on what you did home. Okay, that counts a certain amount to get to. And you have tests and exams. Now there's a list of major topics. I'm not going to read this to you. And there's one that isn't on there, and I've got to fix that. We told all our athletes, I told them in a meeting, put this in their syllabus. Guess who didn't put it in their syllabus? It has to do with matrices. And I'll put that in there and so get out the tells you how the course is going to be conducted. Okay, you've already kind of seen how it's going to be. Got to attend. Okay. If for some reason you got to attend via Zoom, I want to see you on screen. Okay. Because I had a lot of people during the year we did Zoom that logged in and then went out and had a party or something because they never responded to anything. Okay. I want to see you, and you need to respond when I ask for a response. Okay. If you're doing Zoom. If you're terribly disheveled, there are things going on in the background that could get you arrested, or one thing or another, you can tell me that and participate without having your camera on, but you have to respond know you're there and I know you're participating. Okay. I'm going to just submit much of your homework through my open math. Other things be through email, as you did with the ABC exercise, or as you will do. People didn't seem to have any trouble doing that. Sometimes I got attachments and had to say, I'm sorry, can't open that attachment. Like they sent me an HEIC attachment, which I think comes from Apple. I don't have that. I can't open it. Windows can't open this. Okay. So if you've shown me a scan or a picture, if it's a scan in typical format, that's okay for an attachment. Unless I tell you different. I just click on it and there it is, and it's even easier than if I have to scroll down to find it in your document, okay? But usually in JPEGs, scans are better than JPEGs. If you do a good clear JPEG, bright, dark, and everything, it'll work. I can open those, okay? Other things don't seem like I can open. Copy the thing into your email, and I can go down and see where it can happen. Okay. Written homework, through email. And often I'll ask you to bring it to class. Look at it in case there's something I couldn't see on the email. Of course, I really can't see it. Probably ask you to go to the copier and do a copy, but that's a hassle. Much easier if you just do it by email. Or if it's got a lot of errors where I need to mark it up a little bit. A lot of times if there's an error, I'll just type out, here's your error, see if you can fix it. Sometimes you just got to mark up the document. Graphs are constructed by hand. Okay, we'll get some graphs later on. Okay, you don't use decimals or whatever to make your graphs. You don't use your graphing calculator. You construct graphs by hand. Because that's way you see what the graphs do and what it is. Hopefully. And you're not going to have a graphing calculator on your tests. Okay. Yeah, like just a basic scientific calculator. The testing center will use the test. You have disabilities, you have accommodations. I haven't got many notifications, accommodations from anyone, but I usually do. You need accommodation. It's usually you need unlimited time for the test, and I already give you unlimited time for the tests. Okay. Now there's specific objectives. And we're not going to go over those. You don't know what they mean. I mean, you might well know what they mean. So I do recommend that you read these objectives so you can kind of track what you're learning in the course. See what's ahead of you and so forth. Okay, well, that takes up 2 or 3 pages. Textbooks, the open math textbook. Textbook is available on the open math site. With all the videos and everything in class, you might not have great need of the textbook, but it's a great thing to look at for review. So if you need the textbook and can't find it, email me and I'll tell you where it is on the site. But it's there. I think it's pretty close to the top of the page. Hang on, I've got a question. I can't understand myself when I talk. Okay. Use your VCCS email account. Oh, email me from your personal account. Please, with anything, I'm not even allowed to communicate. No, it depends on what's being communicated. If you're desperate and can't get your DHCC email account. Go ahead and email me. But I'm limited in what I can do in response. Okay. Attendance. You can read that. It's official attendance. Again, if you have disability, I can't repeat it. Already talked about that. Don't disrupt teaching. Disciplinary things. Okay. Don't come in here with a weapon. I'll have to take it away from it. Okay. So you get discipline for that. You don't want that to the law and courts and everything. Academic integrity. Don't cheat. Okay. And if you represent things as your work, it should be your work, not Cheg's work. There's a better reason not to represent your work is Cheg's work. And that is that you don't learn anything. Okay. So just use good common sense. And you can read the details of that. There's instructions for college-wide emergency. Got a college website and an alert system. We got links. You can always access those links by going into Canvas, which of course requires that you log in and do authentication, which is a great way to handle an emergency. It's not a great way, but we're kind of constrained by laws and policies. I've got something there about the Blackboard supervised study site. You can cross that out. That doesn't exist. I'm not using Blackboard, haven't for a couple of years. So I don't know why that's still in there. It's just that I kind of missed it. Here's my email. And then this thing about using your access page. That shouldn't be on there. Apologize. You don't have an access page anymore. It doesn't work anymore. So it's critical to everything I do. It doesn't work and nobody gets working. Emergency situations, you got the information. We have deadlines. There's a deadline for dropping the class, receive a full refund, and that's the 14th of the upcoming month. 2 weeks. Last day of this dropping the class did come out when I printed this thing, because I guess the word is just too dumb to know when the line. Check that out on the website. But it's the second of, if you have the 1102, then you probably suspect that it is 2022. Second of November. If you haven't done substantive work in the course, you may be administratively dropped from the course. If you haven't done that by the 21st, I think. Okay. So I'm gonna, maybe it's Tuesday. You're gonna go in, see who's done substantive work and who hasn't. You've done the assignments, you've done substantive work. If you've been in the class and done what you're asked to do, you've done substantive work, even if you haven't done homework. But if you haven't done much of anything, even if you come to class and don't do anything or don't do anything substantive, then I would withdraw you. You would have a certain amount of time to apply for reinstatement. Okay. There are tutoring services available. We talked about that previously in the MARC in the library. Just past main desk. Yeah, they sent a glass partition. You don't have to walk through it. That's all the way across the open pathway, but then behind the glass partition, you have the MARC. And I really recommend that you use the MARC. I haven't yet been able to figure out if they have math tutors yet. They should. They're certainly trying. I think I said last time, all the math tutors quit because they're engineering students. Now they're in their second year and they need to concentrate in engineering. But we have calculus courses. We'll probably identify some people with good calculus, good math skills, and some of them hopefully will be interested in making a little money. Okay. Okay, very good. Any questions?